Alright, we are recording. Yeah, so continuing in Styx, Shards of Darkness. What do we have here?
My patience has its limits. Your hospitality is lousy. No grub, no grub. This room is gloomy. Your high priestess does not treat her guests well.
It is forbidden to blaspheme our high priestess, dwarf. It is an exceptional honor to enter this sanctuary.
Fruit, seeds, water, and cockrobies? Somewhat paltry for prestigious guests.
You are ungrateful beasts. You should languish in our jails, where your bones...
These elves are as tight-assed as a virgin in a barracks dorm. But if they've seen something, they'll be talking about it. My best chance for now is to eavesdrop on their conversations.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
How you will feel when your tongue has been seared with a hot poker.
Your threats are vain, elves. Nothing scares a dwarf. Even with his arm splayed and a blade between his balls.
I apologize, Steve.
Okay. And one thing, going back to what I was talking about at the end of the previous part with the video encoding. One interesting consequence of my enjoyment... shit. Of, when did I just save? When did I save? Did I save before or after I fell down? Okay, before.
The Catfish clan received a message. He was bragging about a secret exchange.
These humans ooze vanity. Were you able to read the message?
It was impossible. The human took it into the quarters that are reserved for them. Lystra was clear on this. We must not risk a diplomatic incident.
A message about a secret exchange inside the walls of Psycho City? It stinks of one of the shapeshifters' dirty tricks. I'm gonna take a look in the Catfish
Really?
clan's quarters. I can't wait to read that message.
But yeah, so as I was saying, the thing that's kind of neat, to me at least, is... And it's partly born from just how much I do the video compression stuff, so I have an understanding of data compression. Is also things I've read concerning information theory. And it's just one of those... And I might end up doing a video on the fiction method about it at some point. I don't know. It really depends on a lot of factors. One is if I'm going to be willing to piss people off. I pissed one person off, it seems like I did, and it's like, I don't think you're understanding what I'm writing, so he's just going to be pissed off.
The message those elves were talking about must be around here somewhere, in the quarters reserved for humans. Now that's interesting, and very smart. The shapeshifter set up a meeting with this guy by saying he had some amber to sell, and this human fool's greed cost him his life. It's a popular technique used by assassins who want to get their target alone. It's time to check out the two lovebirds' meeting place. The message said the library was the meeting place. Well, that's not very romantic.
But yeah, it's just because information theory also has certain concept and understanding of entropy. And it's just kind of interesting because that form, what they talk about for entropy there, it is the same as what's in thermodynamics, but what makes it so fascinating is that it also is... when you look at certain things, when you try to adapt the laws of thermodynamics, especially the one that I can never remember which one it is, by the way. Like if it's 1, 2, or 3 kind of thing, I can never remember that. No, don't do that. How am I gonna get there? But when you try to adapt that to the information theory description of,
Curious.
oh, I never started the timer. Of entropy, you find that a lot of the, shall we say, popular interpretations of entropy are wrong. I mean, basically a better translation is the universe does not forget. Information and energy in information theory are the same thing. You can treat them as the same thing there, and it's basically, yeah, the universe will not forget things. And there are, what are the consequences of that? Because there are various consequences when that is what you recognize. And so the thing with entropy then is people are like, oh, well, heat death of the universe and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, that's legitimately not how that works. Because with information theory, like in data compression, the entropy...
A human diplomat is missing. Lisril is shaking with anger. Do you feel her wrath?
Yes, we all feel it. It's a disgrace to let a diplomat disappear. We shall find him.
Or we will be sacrificed for our failure.
Okay. So that's possibly going to be the best place to try to go. But yeah, entropy in information theory and data compression is basically the part that you can't really compress. Because the way data compression works is you try to find patterns in the data, especially patterns for large things, large and frequently used. Well, if you then, you then replace that with a symbol that is smaller. So now you would store the pattern once, essentially. I do not remember where I am. Okay, I am, like, where I want to be. Oh, no, went the wrong way. Yeah, so the entropy is just, it's hard to compress. Or it is not efficient to compress. Another way to put that is, it would be, and this is where it would be for thermo, when you're talking more so specifically about energy, it's the, there we go. It's actually what would be unmeasured. It is energy that's not being measured or not being put to use, I guess is another way to put it. So, a consequence of that is a car, an internal combustion engine, because you need to be specific, produces less entropy in the winter than in the summer. It does. Because in the winter, the heat, which is the entropy because it's it's largely unused from the combustion, it's pumped into the cabin during winter to warm it. So because it's now being put to use, it's now being measured as well, because you're feeling it. Because of that, the entropy will be lower. So it also comes down to observation, I guess is another way to put it. I guess that is also an advantage to information theory, in that technically what you're working on is closed. I mean, it's like you do have everything there. I have no idea if this is a good way to go or not. I'm just trying. Well, there is a path up, at least, so that's good. Yeah, that is not so good, though. That guy being right there. With lossless data compression, because it's lossless, you know that between the patterns that are being encoded nicely, and the entropy, you have everything. But yeah, and I thought of another analogy that it would be interesting to find somebody who would be like all in on the whole, no, this heat death of the universe, that's exactly what's gonna happen. To ask them and say, okay, well, how do you explain this situation? Because technically it should be well, entropy cannot be lost. You know, you cannot lose entropy. It's like it always has to increase. It's like, okay, well, what if I gave you an example where we actually do decrease it? I mean, like, technically, you are and you aren't. It's actually just moving somewhere else, is the accurate way to put it. But it's, if you don't know where it's going, then it seems very confusing. But it is also, I saw one piece of news, this was a while ago now, where they actually described how in quantum mechanics, because quantum mechanics lets you do almost anything you want, a way to actually have a process reduce the entropy. It would actually have negative entropy, which is supposed to be impossible, but it's like, nah, it's quantum mechanics. It doesn't give a shit. It's...
I saw it right. Jarak hid the corpse of an illustrious guest. I'll have to poke around a bit.
That's curious. There's a corpse. Why is there also somebody in here? And so long as he stays... Nope, he's not. Doesn't seem like there's anybody here except this one guy who I'd rather avoid. And would rather not kill. If I can help it. But yeah, so I don't know, at some point I may... if I'm making a video, it's just the amount of research I'll have to do to make sure that I'm not just completely making things up. I should have looked first. Yeah, he's right here.
The date didn't go too well, it seems. This stupid human paid for the knowledge with his life. At least now I know whose face Jarak has stolen. It's time to put Haledrin to work.
But yeah, what the research though for reduce that had negative entropy, it was actually very clever, and I have a feeling that it wouldn't necessarily reduce entropy overall, as more it would move it. But it's basically when you erase a bit on a storage drive, hard drive, SSD, the energy of that bit has to go somewhere. And where it goes is as heat. Well, what they figured out is that you should be able to actually, oh, that actually works. There we go. Is that if you instead have the bit entangled, because of this allowing you to have it, I'm just, there's like another thought I also need to share with this. Help it make sense. Oh, no, there's somebody there, so I don't want to do that. That's where I'd need to go. Ah.
What was that shadow?
By entangling that bit, it would actually allow you, when deleting the bit, when erasing the bit, it would absorb energy. It would become endothermic instead of exothermic. Which is definitely neat. Very neat idea. Oh, okay. This is actually back where we started. Now I think it would actually like just displace it, where it would be at wherever it is that you had the other end of the entanglement would release the heat. I think that would be the case, but that would still be useful because they were talking about you can use that then to reduce the heat produced when deleting a bit or multiple bits at a data center. So it would allow you to cool the data center, saving power on cooling there, and you'd be dumping the heat somewhere else. I believe it would be putting the heat somewhere else. I mean, it would be like, an AC or a refrigerator. Yes, you're cooling down in one spot because of the work being done to cool one spot, you're producing heat somewhere else. I think it would work out like that, which is technically also saying that the total entropy would still increase. But anyhow, you'd be moving it somewhere else, and that might be easier to cool, or at least it being warmer there would have a lesser consequence than in the data center. Okay.
You have all received a scepter.
Get a drink of water.
Its true power lies inside this quartz.
So are these supposed to be the shards?
You're afraid of a little goblin.
Oh, it's this guy. Okay. I didn't realize he would still be alive.
Ultimate weapon against the green flame is now a reality. We give you the quartz. You give us the goblins that you capture.
Ah, that makes sense.
And we give you gold.
They want the amber. Because all the goblins were produced from amber.
Stay seated for a moment. One day you will bend a knee to humans. Now it's your turn, Haledrin.
Sir, you are asked for outside.
I'm busy.
It's important, Jarak.
Shape-shifting bastard got totally fucked over by his cousins. I'm loving it. By following these traces of blood, I should be able to track him. I'll get him to spit out everything he knows about the source of this fucking quartz. And then he will discover what happens to those who cross Styx.
Okay, I'm just a little curious about... Ah, there we go. Ah, through here. Goes up. Oh, crap. Okay, that I am shocked worked. Okay. So it looks like it goes out that door. this door. I know that. This is how I got back here. Oh, here we go. Whoops. Okay. Blood continues out here. It does seem like it must go over that way. Will this work? It's a path? No. There we go. Where does it go from here? Okay, continues up. Wait. Okay. Last okay, there we go.
That accursed
These
Jarak
dark
could not
elves
have
are as
disappeared
stupid
into
as
thin air.
Rakash if
The
they think
traces
that
of
a
his
locked door
contemptible
can stop
blood leads
Jarak.
here. He cannot have come this way, Castasil. This door is double locked.
We must have missed something. Let us recheck the trail of his rancid blood.
Yeah, sure. Let's keep going. I got time. Especially since I forgot to start the timer initially. And it just occurred to me one thing worth mentioning, but let's continue.
You'd follow me this far.
See? I got a few tricks too. Now where's the quartz?
You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into.
Now you just tell me where the quartz is, or my knife gets into you.
Fine. In the mines, in the subterranean levels of the
Find
city.
the outcast. Jara came this way. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
But yeah, one thing that occurs to me. Oh, cool. Really? Amber Vision doesn't count? I was definitely using that. But anyway, one thing that occurred to me that I should mention is like, oh, I've got these ideas about entropy. Well, why don't other people know this? I think information theory might still be semi-modern in some ways, but as far as the whole why is it that more people don't know this, I think it's just people don't necessarily know both. Or at least I'd listen to for both. I mean, it's like, as kind of a legitimate, this shows that is the case. Over the course of over 10 years, I want to say, I've been getting press releases and such. Unfortunately, they changed how they did that, so I don't get them anymore. But for about 10 years, I know near the beginning of that, near the end of that, I saw a press release for this discovery concerning entropy and all that. It's the same thing. But people forgot about it or didn't see it. That definitely happens. It's like if you're somebody who's busy doing the research, doing scientific research, you're not necessarily busy reading all the latest news if it's not directly pertaining to what you research. But the thing that I saw was people talking about how, hey, you know what you can do? And by the way, my gaze, I'm turning to my left to see the mic, was that if you zip up data, the file size tells you what the entropy is roughly, relatively speaking. Like the last one I saw, there was actually like they might have been like high school age interns at a college or just undergrad students working in labs, like a graduate or higher level lab, because that's what they were doing. And they found that, yeah, if they just took their recordings and threw it into a zip file, by seeing what was the smallest, they would know, oh, that has the least amount of entropy. And then, they could do the actual measurement of it to calculate the entropy based on the data, and they would find that, yes, that is true. They wouldn't get the specific value, but they'd know that one has the least, that one has the most. Because in compression, the compression algorithm is also finding the entropy. As I explained earlier, that's what it has difficulty compressing. So that means that a file with a lot of entropy doesn't get compressed as well as a file with less entropy, that more patterns, more easily compressed. And I've seen that same press release twice, basically, years apart, because because the second time, they didn't know that somebody had already figured this out. And that legitimately happens. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just it is the idea that, oh, well, how do you know this when other people don't? It's like, because that's just part of the nature of this, unfortunately. Of scientific discovery and knowledge, where you may end up rediscovering things, and not even like it's been 100 years. No, it could be a decade. It's just you didn't know. In fact, I wish I could find things. It was talking about the value of interdisciplinary work, because this was at a university, and there was a physicist sitting down at lunch, hanging out with his friend who's in the biology department, and they were just chatting and say, oh yeah, what are you working on? Oh, I'm working on this. We're beating our heads against this problem. Oh, really? Tell me about it. Even though, yeah, I'm biology, not physics, but still, tell me about it. Told him about it. I was like, oh, that sounds a lot like this. Hang on. They went and looked. Turns out, and I'm pretty sure it was physics and biology, some biologists figured out a century prior how to solve a problem that is very similar to one in physics. And so they're like, oh, this has already been solved. We've been bashing our heads against trying to do this in our lab today. But it's like, oh, we could have just come over and taken one of your textbooks. I mean, it's like, that very much is a real thing. And it's also why they don't do so much anymore, but definitely there's active encouragement for interdisciplinary work, or at least there was some years ago.
Whoa! This is good quartz, man. I'm gonna need a lot more of that. The quartz scepters that Lysril is about to share with the other races might be powerful, but they don't vibrate with as much energy as the medallion worn by Jarek.
That is interesting. So I can't unlock that because I do. Okay. I'm not sure what that means. Hang on, let me just... So is it improving that? That'd be nice, but I'm avoiding combat sufficiently that, yeah, let's go with that one. Unlock your first ultimate skill. And that also, knocks me out of doing anything else. I'm pretty sure I'm still... Yeah. And hang on, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So they are actually rendering the cutscenes. Which makes sense because they're not running at 60 or 30. To use the costume that you picked. But they do still look pretty good. They look pretty cinematic, so that's
I expected a war or an economic alliance, but...
Anyway, getting another drink of water.
That.
Yep, looks like you're gonna have to get a new job.
Why has Lysril asked the other races to bring the goblins back to her, alive?
You know something? I really don't give a shit.
I'm certain the Amber.
While you consider your career options, I'm gonna take a look around those mines. I got to get my hands on some of that pure quartz. And you better be here when I get back. Don't forget, you owe me.
See, what I'd like to do is pull up a UI that tells me about my abilities.
Shit, it's a real mess with all these
Son of a bitch. How much did that just screw things? Okay, it only screwed me up this bad.
I expected a war or an economic alliance, but not.
Okay, I think I kind of
Looks like
sort
you're
of.
gonna have to get a new job. Shit, it's a real mess with all these different kinds of quartz. The quartz in Lisrel's demonstration is a kind of receptacle that is briefly charged with energy. The one Jarak had, it was like the very essence of that energy. Let's call it pure quartz. It's that pure quartz I need.
Okay. And going back to the whole what entropy is and isn't, I like reinterpreting that one law of thermodynamics. Everybody's like, heat death of the universe to be the whole, the universe doesn't forget. Because I think it's fair to say it doesn't, that there's some record somewhere of the energy. It's just, can we work our way back to the original information? Probably not. That might just be a limitation on us, not necessarily the universe itself. It does get interesting when you start considering like uncertainty principles and well, yeah, the uncertainty principles. I was also going to mention like the Planck length, which
Seems certain that the quartz comes from these mines. Just gotta find it. Anyways, I can't turn back now. Gotta keep moving.
yeah, things like the Planck length and Planck time, which are the smallest. Oh, don't do that. I didn't know that's what that was.
Now that really does add life.
I see that there. Okay, that is not great strategy. I don't want to just try to attack them or throw bolts at them. Oh, here we go. I just had a funny thought cross my mind with the whole information enemy loss. Then technically that would mean that whenever you have a thought, because that is information stored in some means, and you forget it, it is actually going somewhere. So in theory, it could be, it's, you know, the universe has it, that doesn't mean you do. That's actually kind of a funny thing to think about. It's like, no, it's somewhere. You just don't know where.
That goblin impaled himself almost without flinching. His face was twisted in a grimace of pain. I'm playing with fire here, but they're the ones who are gonna get burned.
I think I'm just gonna try to avoid standing under these things. Okay, it does seem like that's all they are. It's just that kind of drop trap
Never
thing.
been a big fan of plants. Well, at least not all of them. The ones that spit acid in your face, not so much. But the ones that take you higher, well, that's another story.
Okay.
That scratching reminds me of something.
Robies.
Robies. Why did it have to be Robies? It's like being an Akanash.
Which is a very odd comment.
The slightest sound, these bastards flock like flies to a festering wound.
because this is... Styx is not supposed to remember anything from the first game. Like, that is how the first game ends, would be a loss of all that memory. And Akanash, didn't it fall? Wasn't it destroyed? So, shouldn't he not remember them? Okay, now at least how it was before. In the first game, you could, let's just... There was a way to kill them silently, that wasn't it. But at least that must have been that ability I unlocked, that ultimate ability. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity of killing one.
It was time we were a little more discreet, huh?
Come on. Hang on. No. Okay. There's a secret room? Yeah, at least previously. Man, that is really nice that you can kill from that far out. Just by walking like that, they won't hear you. And apparently this... Yeah, so if you look down there, the UI does tell me that there's no noise doing this. There's a little bit this way, but still very little.
Now that's what I call a cave. If I was a masked Avenger, that's where I'd be keeping my shit. Need someone to get rid of the bats, though. Maybe a butler. Or Heledrin.
I guess I can? Alright, cool. That works. No. There we go. Yeah. That's what I have been doing. There. A little odd. All the way over here. That's all there is, but whatever. You know what? It's dangerous, but... Alright. If I could... I knew if I could get back here, I'd be okay. Yeah, these guys are not nearly as aggressive, it seems, as in Akanash. Like, that dude would have run all the way over. And I'm thankful for that, because they were so freaking annoying in the first game. Alright.
These robies are mining ore. I never seen that before. It's like they've been domesticated. Fido with a crunchy shell. Hell, why not?
Are they only over there? Alright. The drop plant things. This is probably stupid. Damn it, I forgot that that's what that was. Completely and utterly forgot that's what it was. And I'm running out of time. Let's try to just ignore it then. Well, that's a problem. Oh, I'm surprised I made it. Fortunately, I saw that. Okay.
Still no sign of any quartz. Well, there's no way I'm giving up now.
I was literally right next to quartz when he said that. But oh man, that was, I don't know if my heart rate went up. It should have. That was stressful. I think that's just a crafting location. What is this? Okay. Still no idea about this secret room. I have no idea what that is. Actually, you know what?
A flying cockroach that squirts acid out of its ass. Reminds me of my first date. Doesn't look quite as blind as the Robies. Better be careful.
Okay, but what does hitting it like that achieve? Like, does that kill it? Or just stun it? What kills it because I can't interact with them while on the ground. Like, if it stuns it, then I should have the opportunity to kill. That's just basic video game etiquette.
Elves? Looks like cave exploration time is over. This place must be used as a refinery to process the ore harvested by the Robies. If there's quartz around here, it has to be somewhere behind these walls.
Okay. Oh, in fact, that timing is perfect. There. I'm just gonna save it right here. And this will be where I stop. Alright. Things are getting interesting. Yeah. Finally learned what the shards are as the description for this part, which, true, you would have already seen. I mean, I right just now. Anyway, yeah, I shall see you next time.